Good morning and many thanks for joining us today. My name is Lillian Muli and we're wishing you a lovely day even as you join us right here on Citizen TV. Now, to the trending topic of the weekend, American media personality and actor Steve Harvey has been trending since the weekend, like I just said, following allegations that his wife Marjorie had allegedly cheated on him with their bodyguard and personal chef. She even demanded a $200 million divorce settlement. Disclaimer: these are allegations. To address the rumor, Harvey dismissed the allegations as gossip. His wife also came through and dismissed the same, saying that that was just hearsay and that they're in fact just fine. And our topic this morning, based on that and against the backdrop of that, is infidelity, and more so marital infidelity, and how to deal with the aftermath. Who is to blame for infidelity in the relationship? When a man cheats and when a woman cheats, does it hold the same weight? Is cheating just cheating altogether? When a man cheats, is this just a physical thing? When a woman cheats, is this more emotional? So societal expectations as well, and men saying that a man cannot have one wife, especially in this African context, that mwanaume anafaa kuwa na mabibi wengi. There's no, ati hakuna mtu wa mtu. Anyway, we're going to get into that conversation shortly with our guest analysts in studio, starting on this end with CJ Atemo. He's a life coach. We're also joined by QT, my colleague right here at Radio Citizen, and Roberta Bobby, who is a blogger. Gentlemen and ladies, good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone feeling today?
How are you feeling?
I'm happy. I just keep getting happy. I feel good. Ni vile tu kuna baridi, but amazing.
Yeah. So cheating, infidelity, and how to survive that. Kitty, have you been cheated on?
Yeah, it has happened before, and I actually found out. They say this thing about the phone, just leave the phone alone. Nowadays, I can't touch the phone, but back in them days, I used to be on the phone like all the time,
Like snooping?
Yeah, snooping. You take your spouse's phone and you go through it, but I think we learn with time, and you have to go through something. I keep saying, you have to learn for yourself. No one can tell you, don't do this, please do this. There's no right or wrong. You have to learn for yourself, and it's through experience. So this thing of cheating, it's mostly when the guy maybe is not giving you the attention that they used to give you back in the day when you started out and all that. So when you start seeing that the guy has changed, his patterns have changed and he's not whoever he used to be or whatever it was he was pretending to be. So that's when you start realizing, something is up. Aniangali vile alikuwa ananiangalia, he's not giving me the compliments he used to and all that. So you start overthinking, your mind gets to you and you start thinking, something is not right. So you start snooping on the phone, manze, and you find, they always say, you'll always find what you're looking for. Whatever it is that you're looking for, you're gonna find it. So once you find out what you're looking for, you're in trouble and you're like. So for the men, I think it's about, for me, I think it's about the physical thing. But when a woman cheats, trust me, it's emotional. It has everything to do with emotions, because women, we get more interested in a man because of emotions. They say for a woman to actually get involved with someone, she has to love you, she has to be emotionally involved. But I think for men, it's easier to actually just get like just the physical attraction. Once the physical attraction is done, they're like, that's it for me. And a man would not even look at you twice. Once the physical attraction is done, they'll just be like, they'll forget about you, and then you'll be like, guy, kwani, how serious? And then the woman is, you're so invested emotionally. So that's why it takes time for a woman to actually cheat or to move on to someone else. Yeah. But when they're in a relationship, they're so serious, they invest emotionally, physically, financially, mentally, they put everything in it. But once a woman is done, and they'll just leave and go, and they'll be like, you know what, adios, I'm done, I'm leaving, and I'm not coming back. Yeah. So for the woman, it's emotional, but I think for the man, it's more physical attraction. And then once they're done, they'll just go back to mama. They'll be like, mi niko na mama, by the end, napenda mama. So you're wondering, what unafanya nini na unapenda mama? Napenda mama. Mi nilikuwa tu hapa kujibamba. So kawe ujui jokes, sikuwa serious, Yeah, that's the sad truth, by the way.
Me, I generally think cheating is just a character flaw. it says a lot about your personality and who you are as a person, whether the cheating might seem justified, like, oh, he doesn't give me attention, he's not there. Just the fact that your mind went into thinking that cheating on someone or manipulating and lying, because it comes with all sorts of disrespect. It's never justified. Whatever the reason could be, financials, external factors, I was tired, I was sad. Whatever the reason that you might come up with, it just says a lot about who you are as a person and the things you believe in. And I normally feel like if someone cheats in any sort of level, in any sort of relationship, that there are people you can't trust in any other way. If someone is cheating on their wife, ole wako ukifikiria unaweza anza business na umse na pia yeye asikudanganye. Like if they can cheat on someone they've laid vows down with, someone they go back home to every day, sembuse wewe mwenye anaonanga once a week. So zile ni business meeting peke yake. So I think cheating just says who you are as a person, because I've been in so many, I've been cheated on and I've probably cheated, but now when I think about it, I said probably.
Why would you do that?
No, you know, sometimes you might do something and how someone else perceives it, how they see it was not your intention, or it's not how you are doing it, but as long as umefanya, it's just up to you to correct and improve and be better from there. So I think it just says a lot about who you are. And when I think about where I was at such mind spaces, it was space ya vengeance, space ya anger, space ya bitterness. Saizi with time nime grow enough to understand that that's something that's way beneath me. It's not something I can give my time to. If I'm not happy, I just leave, or we communicate. If it's not working, if we can't talk to each other, imeshindikana, tumejaribu, that's okay. Because my mind doesn't automatically wonder to, he's not called me today, let me go and cheat on him. It's like, first you think, okay, why isn't he talking to me? Is it something I can improve on? Is it something he's going through? Can we talk about it? If it's persistent and habitual, then I have to make my decision. This is something I cannot stand for, rather than let me find someone better, or, so it's just a character flaw for me. It says who you are. It shows how you reason, how you settle things, how you think about things. It just shows who you are as a person. That's what I think.
And yet as women, there's this general sense, CJ, that we're held to higher standards in terms of ethics, in terms of, morality and being faithful. So when a woman cheats, men are said to be very unforgiving, but women will often forgive a cheating spouse, a cheating partner. I mean, you'll literally butt dial someone, forgive the French. You're having a conversation with someone there, and clearly this man is invested in that relationship, but the woman will very easily forgive, but try and flip that on the woman and let the woman be the one that cheated, and that's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, generally because I think men are very territorial when it comes to relationships. We may not be as emotionally invested as the women are, but then it comes back to the ego. And most of the time, the thought is that he wasn't satisfying this woman. If there is one place that men hate to fail, it is in their bedroom. It's like masculinity is defined around their sexuality as well. They really can't handle that. There are men who will stay away from their bedroom because they don't think they perform well. It's difficult sometimes for women to begin the discussion about their satisfaction because they do not want to bruise the ego of the man. There's so many men who will be walking around and second-guessing themselves because they do not know whether they have the size or the strength to satisfy a woman. So that is a huge, huge, huge part for a man. And when he is cheated on, he takes it so personally. Generally, there are men who forgive. There are men who forgive, who go past it. But the general thing about it is that it becomes so personal because it's the ego that has been bruised. And so when you see the reaction, it is the reaction of the ego.
And, you know, QT, you spoke about phones and, you know, even with this whole American personality thing, probably, I mean, if ever there was such a situation, the phone is one of the ways where people find out that something is going on. But then again, where to draw the line as regards being flirtatious? I mean, and first of all, why are you going through somebody's phone?
I know, right?
mean, the fact that you even feel the need to do that, okay, personally, I would never, ever dare. But I don't know what your thoughts are, guys, on surviving the aftermath of actually finding out the stuff has been going on. And maybe it's not even going on. Sometimes it's just, you know, I'm bored. I'm like, hey, babe. There's a joke where people say, everybody on your phone is babe, 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 babe. And then there's mom. And then babe, babe.
You know, Lillian, I think it's an age thing. You mature with time, and it's experience. You really have to go through it, because when you start dating someone and you're younger and all that, you definitely want to go through their phone and just be like, they say when you go to WhatsApp, you just text like babe, and you'll see everyone that's called babe or sweetheart or love. That's the trick. That's what they say. But I think with time, as you grow older and as you mature, you come and realize that I'll go through that phone and I'll get everyone that is called babe there. I'll get everyone that's called sweetheart. But probably it's just a thing that really people do, you know, calling each other babe. I mean, I call Roberta babes, you know, like it's just a thing that people do. But the aftermath, now that's the problem. Because for men, I don't think men forgive easily. I know CJ has said that some men forgive, but oh my God, men, they really never get over cheating. I don't know if it's the ego. I don't know why, but even if a man forgives you, it can never, that relationship will never be the same again. You'll always feel like he's colder, he's maybe distant, he's not the same person that you used to know. And even for the women, we forgive easily. I don't know why we find it in our hearts, but we forgive. But you might find that someone has an agenda. You might decide to forgive, but you're forgiving so that you do the same thing to them. Like it's vengeance, it's revenge. And it's really bad when you stay in a relationship because you want to do to that person what they did to you. You also want to prove a point, because sometimes you might hear someone saying, throwing in words like, by the way, Atamineza, I mean, if you think I'm the coach, you know, like I'm the coach in this game. So you feel people throw in such words like, I can also do the same. So if someone really tells you that, they've not forgiven you. So you need to like separate forgiveness and vengeance. And you need to know if someone has really forgiven you, because the aftermath is usually really, really bad, because it can never be the same. It's emotional damage, it's mental damage, it's overthinking, and that person will be like insecure. They'll start now following you where you're going. We were having a conversation with Roberta before the show about, like, we were talking about someone just pulling up on you because you're not replying their text, because you're not calling back, and they'll be like calling your friends. You know, you're in a relationship, but someone is just calling your friends. Hi, are you with QT? Are you with Roberta? You know, someone is just following up on you. So that's the aftermath. Those are the consequences that you have to live with after you cheat on someone or after someone cheats on you, because it really damages you emotionally, financially. You've invested in this person. You're maybe even paying their school fees. You're taking care of them financially. And then they go cheat on you, and then you're left wondering like, okay, what did I do wrong? Imagine you did nothing wrong. And as Roberta said, it's the character of that someone. So it's up to you to really decide, do I really want to move on without this person, or do I want to stay with this person and just be with them with their character? Because once a cheater, always a cheater. They're not changing. It's a lie.
But then, you know, there's repercussions, there's disease, it could go south. But then again, you know, just as we continue, I mean, this DCI, you know, story, why are you investigating people if you have not seen it with your eyes? I mean, again, Roberta, you're so huge on saying we bring into relationships who we are and what we've seen. So, I mean, some people also being entirely paranoid and toxic and just constantly thinking the other person is up to no good. I mean, we're allowed to have friends, aren't we? Yeah. We're allowed to, I mean, so yeah, carrying on with that.
Kwanza, there's something called women's intuition. Yeah. By the time you're feeling some kuna kitu, you know there's something. Nobody needs to explain to you. So there already is the point where you're supposed to make your decision. I think we go through the phone just to get the confirmation. But what that does is it kills, like it overflows your anxiety. So this is what I say. Work on self. Jipende. Work on yourself, create your confidence, create your self-esteem, love yourself immensely, so that when that woman thing starts, you start asking yourself, why is it that I'm feeling this way? Is it a conversation I can have? Can I ask questions? By the time inafika hapo, kuwa ready for anything, just make your decision within yourself. You don't need confirmation. You don't need to go through that phone. You don't even need to ask questions. You just need to ask yourself, how is this relationship going? How have I been feeling? Is it going well? Am I being abandoned, rejected? Do I feel loved and respected? How is it? How am I feeling within this situation? If then you decide if you're willing to have the conversation, or if you think they're cheating, you need to find out, maybe ask them, talk to them. But hizi mambo za kuchunguza simu, Kitty amesema, you'll always find something. It could be it's nothing, but okay, married men calling other people babes, sijui hapa, lakini it could be nothing. It could be just
Roberta,
a
so I
simple
can't call you babe.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
don't know.
After 3 years to
I
get
don't know
on
about
TV.
that. Well, I don't know if your wife is okay with that.
See, now you are suspicious. You're the one who's suspicious.
But it's also just a respect thing. You know, within the confines of your relationship, you guys have your own boundaries. Maybe it's okay for us to call each other babe, because we know the kind of relationship we have. It's beyond nothing, it's just work.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Ni sisi wenyewe tuna
man, that hurts.
understand.
That's work.
No, in this context.
But
Hapa kwa hii red carpet yenye tuko hapa. But if there's something I would like for women to learn from men, not the ego thing, but the self-worth thing.
Yeah.
Unaona venye tunasema men cannot forgive cheating. Women, learn from that. Take it from them. If there's one thing you should learn from men, it's the way they love themselves. They always choose themselves. If something no longer serves them, they have the confidence to wake up and say, I'm not doing this anymore. They might not communicate. Sometimes they just ghost.
Yeah.
But you'll always see their actions. They don't... Hakunanga hiyo ati siko sure kama sisi ati, you know, but I have hope, but I like him, the kids. Them, if they're done, they wake up and they leave.
Yeah.
So learn to grow your self-worth so that when you get to the point where your woman's intuition is trying to tell you something, you're able to make better decisions, you're able to have better communication. Na your decision should come within yourself. Because by the time unaanza kufikiria, because sometimes it comes out of nowhere. He's been amazing. He treats you well. He's very attentive. But you keep feeling like, maybe I should go through that phone. Utapata kitu unatafuta. So just make the decision within yourself so that you're able to be better at navigating these relationships.
So the question is in the why, and looking at what people were saying over the weekend about this American personality, they're going back to history and saying, you know, he did this at some point and now it's coming back to bite him, and, you know, just a lot of speculation over the why. So CJ, in terms of the why this happens in the first place, so you're in this space where you chose each other, but one of you or even both of you ultimately eventually decide this is the route we're going to take. You're not enough for me because you're not enough for me and I'm not enough for you. So why don't we just go and find people that somehow fill that gap? Yeah.
I don't know whether it is always because the other person is not enough. I think that would be to put too much weight on it. There are certain things that are based on people's cultural beliefs as well. If you have been socialized to think that is okay, like boys growing up and then they keep on hearing around themselves that, you know, the more girls you have around you, the more powerful you are. Even when this person will have somebody who is enough for them, they may still go out because they've been socialized like that. It is in their psyche. It may not even be the character that Bobby was talking about. It's just in their psyche. And their conversations when they meet as friends will be like, man, you can't just have one person. And that's what they've been hearing for a very long time. It could also be something that is just psychological at some point. I once was reading about men who probably in their 40s, if they lost their mother, they may want to have a figure in their lives. So they may be married, but then if they lost their mother and they were close, they might go into having somebody else to fill that gap. So it's a psychological issue as well. And of course, the societal thing that makes this the norm. But then there's also now reasons like when a man begins to grow in power, in strength and influence, he has all these opportunities. When guys are broke, They're literally working their way up. They're putting in their effort, their energy.
Yeah.
If you want to know whether it's a character thing, look at it whether they did it when they were broke. If a man can cheat when he's broke, that is a character thing.
But it's the nasties who cheat more.
That's because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to cheat when you're broke. You're not.
They have all the time.
But I mean, they're not paying these girls. They're not doing anything. There's nothing that is attracting these women apart from. So that's a lot. That's a character stuff. But when somebody grows in influence and they've grown in money, in affluence as well, sometimes it's the opportunities. You're meeting so many people who are coming around you.
Right.
So many people who may say yes. You're in spaces where probably you're traveling and you're alone with different people in different spaces. So the opportunity presents itself. At that particular point, then this person has to have a lot of discipline and self-control not to do that, because they would easily get away with it whichever way.
Yeah.
There are those then who will cheat because of unmet needs in their marriage or relationship. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and this is a lady, and she told me for 3 years, they only tried to be intimate 4 times in 3 years. And well, she didn't go out, but then she said, you know, if I did, people would have thought, what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
But for 3 years, just about 4 times, and it really did not work. So there's the element of unmet needs. And for the lady, that is even harder, because we're not socialized to hear women expressing themselves about their sexual needs. They're supposed to be coy, they're supposed to be reserved, they're supposed to wait when approached.
Yeah.
And
I'm just wondering, 4 times, and this guy's coming home every other day.
yes,
That's
yes.
serious, yeah.
And there's so many cases like that, you know, people who have gone even for 5 years and never had any intimacy.
Yeah.
So the unmet needs, the broken trust issue, where you probably have had something happen before, or you just feel like something is not happening.
Yeah.
And there's no trust. So it breaks the communication and the connection between these two people. And if I feel now that I'm going through a dry spell because we have trust issues and I've tried to work out this trust issue and you're not allowing me, if I do not have the strong metal, I may get out.
Yeah.
There's also the element of appreciation. People generally will go towards where they're appreciated. It's like the plants that photosynthetic plants, you know, they grow towards the light. So if you are not showing me affection and attention and somebody else is, I may find myself gravitating towards that person, and that might build up into something else.
Okay.
And
Okay. Well said. So the question is then, if you forgive, and we're talking about the aftermath, will this person do it again? Because they say cheaters don't lose their spots. Once a cheat, always a cheat. So you're literally enabling this habit. You keep forgiving, and it keeps happening, and it keeps happening, and it keeps happening. And the consequences are crazy, from the psychological, abuse, emotional abuse, the risk in terms of, sexually transmitted infections and diseases. Immense. Things could go south, like I said. So, your opinion, guys. Once a cheat, always a cheat. Will this person cheat again? Is it even worth working on it?
Once a cheat, always a cheat. Seriously, because even when you look at just habits like dieting and eating, it's really, really hard to keep up with such habits, you know. You say, by the way, I'm not going to eat junk. For maybe this month, I decide I'm not going to eat sugar, I'm not going to eat chicken, and all that. But you will find that the cravings are just so, so intense, so mad. And when you actually fighting something is when you really want to do it. I don't know why it happens like that, but it's just something psychological. Like when you really want to avoid something, that's when it happens. So even with cheating and other behaviors, not just cheating, even other behaviors, that's when it becomes sweeter. They say that the forbidden fruit is it's the sweetest. Clearly Eve,
Yeah.
So once you do that one thing, it becomes so good and so sweet. So when you stop with this person, now it will be a habit. You do with this person, your spouse finds out about it. Then you go to another person. And as we've said, the consequences are mental, psychological. Even your health is at risk because this person is just going around, doing other things. And as you said about this American personality, if the allegations are true, at the end of the day, he did this thing before, and karma will always catch up with you. You cannot avoid karma. It will always catch up with you. At some point, wanasemaga whatever, yani utalipia tu hapa and everything that you do. So I think just be a good person. If you're going into a relationship, just be sure 100%. Leave your habits behind. If you used to, come on, napenda the cookie in the jar, get in the cookie in the jar. Let that cookie be there. Just don't get. I mean, seriously, Lillian. You know, at the end of the day, it's about, am I really ready to get into this relationship? Do I really want to be serious, or do I just want to play around? Because I think it's really unfair to someone who is coming into the relationship with everything they have, financial, mental, physical, and they're coming in 100%. But you, on the other hand, you're coming in zile za, mina kam tu kujibamba. Like, I'm just here for the playtime. I'm just here for the fun. And when someone tells you, that's already, those are the red flags we were talking about last week. I'm just here for the fun. If you're here for the fun, well, I'm not here for the fun. I want all in. So I think that's a conversation people should actually have before you get into a relationship. Like, are you here for the long term? Are you here for the short term? Are we serious? Do you think like you can be able to do this? And I think it's good to know one's character before you really get into a relationship with them. And if they left someone for you, they're going to leave you for someone else, Lillian. If they really left someone for you, they will.
Well, I think it is, let me be what Shatta used to say, the devil's advocate. I don't serve the devil. But I think it would be very unfair to use what is now nearly cliche, that once a cheat, always a cheat, because there are people who literally work their way out of that. Then that would mean that if I was once an alcoholic, I can't break out of it. If I was addicted to drugs, I can't break out of it. I'm a believer that people can break out and change. And when you put that on them, sometimes you'll find people who are trying so hard to get their way out of where they are. But if I have this perception that you can't change, it becomes difficult for them to measure up. So the little steps that they keep making towards becoming better, they keep on feeling like, I'm really trying, but you have made up your mind that I can't. So then they may get to the place where they say, what's the use of even trying to become better? So I think it's a case-by-case thing. There are people who generally will literally want to work their way out. There are people who found themselves there once and they had remorse and they got out. Some people will cry out for help and get that help. For some people, it will be their character, and they will do that no matter how many times they say sorry. But there are others who will generally want to get help. They're the ones who come out and tell their spouses, I did this, I feel bad about it, I want to work around it. Sometimes people don't say that because they feel even when they come, they will be so judged. Because I've had cases where somebody will say, but I'm the one who brought this out. I wanted them to help me through this journey, and they just turned on me. They said I was forgiven, then they changed. And then that thing becomes a thorn in the flesh for the rest of their life. So if you ask me, I would deal with it case by case.
Can I just say, I think people can change, but I'm not sticking around to find out. Because kwa hiyo period ya find out is where you catch those diseases, is where you get really mentally damaged and emotionally broken. And you see, as a woman, the more you go through pain and your heart chakra is being destroyed, the more you close your crown chakra, the more you don't want love anymore. And a woman, she blossoms when she's loved correctly. When she's happier and being treated well, that's where you improve and become better. So the more you keep staying with these people who give you promises, and also something CJ you said, mtu anaweza fika point and I feel, what's the point? Change is not supposed to be for the other person. It's completely for you. If you want to improve and you want to stop being an alcoholic, a cheater, or whatever, go into it with, it's for me. I'm doing it for me, not because CJ is gonna notice and give me a badge for it, not because my friends are gonna notice and they're gonna be happy for me. It's about you, because if it's a change you've decided to make, you know how it's going to impact your own life. And you, as a consequence, then you become better for your lover or your spouse or the people around you. So this is a very you thing. It's for you, ni wewe decide. Ikifika point useme ati, hata hawa notice, ama, I always try and they never measure up. I never measure up. You'll never measure up to anyone, not even the next person. Because as long as you stay with someone who forgave you for cheating, I just feel like the trust is really already broken. It's very difficult to mend. I mean, it's possible, but it'll take a lot of work, and you have to be there. So you have to come as, I want to do this, not because you'll like me better or because it'll change, just that even if we end up breaking up, I'll be better for myself, I'll be better for the people after you, and I'll be able to improve. So yes, I feel like people can definitely change, they can improve, but especially as a woman, I think it's very risky to stay and wait.
Yeah, but I'm talking, we're coming from a place where a woman has invested, or rather she's been in this marriage 15 years, 20 years down the line. And like CJ is saying, the guy comes and says, look, I have a child out of the marriage, I have a baby mama. And so you've come with this information, and this is your wife, you've got a family, you've got investments together, you've built a life around each other. So the place of forgiveness in all of this, when somebody actually owns up, yes, there's the serial cheaters, but this is somebody who has been the bigger person and said, look, I had a child out of wedlock, and I'm coming to own this because, children are innocent at the end of the day. Yeah. So in such a case, the place of forgiveness, I want to get your thoughts, because there's also cases where women, can a woman actually come and say, look, I had an extramarital affair, I'm expectant, and I'm not sure. So you see, it's just not a good balance. Who can say the place of forgiveness in all of this? Yeah.
There is a former Ghanaian footballer, I think you saw the story.
Yes.
3 children, and none of them were his. After nearly 21 years of marriage.
Wow.
He was getting to know that later on. It could go either way. But even when there is no child, Lillian, I think the thing that holds a relationship together is the fact that 2 people are committed to each other. There will be all kinds of stuff happening. There'll be different seasons where people may not even necessarily physically go out and cheat, but they have got emotional cheating at that particular point. They have mistreated each other in different ways. They have withheld from each other, which is a form of abuse in itself. There are a lot of things that come up. It is the commitment that people have, and that commitment has to be built on the place of trust. Now, trust is not that you have never failed me. Trust is that you own up whenever you fail me, or when you have not measured up, you own up. That what I see is what I get. You're not trying to cover up, you're not trying to lie about it, you're not trying to justify yourself, that you're willing to come and be straight about it and say, okay, I did this, and then we see whether we can work it out. The thing that Bobby talked about of never staying in to work it out, the problem is that you carry the same wounded person into the next relationship. And so anything you see with the other person that looks like the one you left, you start treating them as the person that you left. And you may treat them so badly and then have another relationship that doesn't work, and then you will keep on going and saying, all these men are the same, but it's not. It's the woman who is the same in this particular case. So in the case of where it has happened, the forgiveness, first of all, don't lie to yourself that you're not hurt. Never lie to yourself that you're not hurt. You got to put yourself in that and go through the grief process. Feel the pain, talk about it. If you need to go separate ways for a while, if you need to talk to somebody else about it, do it. Make sure that you're genuinely healed. Not for the people, for the society, for the family, no cover-ups. Because when we do that, then it keeps on coming up. When we say that women forgive, I sit with a lot of couples in different spaces, and I'll tell you, men will tell you that their women will never forget what they did in 1982. It will keep on showing up. So it will be like, okay, I stayed with you. But they'll always keep on bringing it up. Probably because they never really addressed their pain. They never really got into the depth of that issue. And maybe because even those men did not want them to have a proper discussion. So they just said, I'm sorry. And the woman tried to understand why, but the man just said, I don't know, it was the devil, I'm sorry. So there was no proper discussion about this thing. I think it is important for people to talk about it. Talk about why you think that you went the direction that you went, and talk about how you feel about what this person did, and go through the process so that by the time you're coming out of it, you genuinely feel that we have spoken about it. I may not agree with it, maybe I've understood it a bit, but I am in a proper place to make a decision to fight for the relationship.
And just to add on that point of forgiveness, where you asked, where does forgiveness come in? You've stayed with someone for 10 years, Lillian. think when you stay with someone for 10 years, 15 years, you would know if they're really genuine about the apology. Because being with someone for 15 years, every single day, you will know that this guy, you know, there are those people who say promises, promises, empty promises. But there are these people when they say, I'm going to do something, they do it. I'm going to do this for you, they do it. So if really that person has a clean heart and is really honest, you will know that this was a grave mistake. Okay, fine. There was infidelity, there was a child involved, and you can actually, like, we can forgive it and get past it. But there are those people that you know, even if they say like, oh, sijui, it was the devil, oh, sijui, I'm sorry, you will know. Lillian, you will know your person, because staying with someone for that long, I mean, 10 years is a long time being with someone, you know. So I really think you would know deep down in your heart, like, this person is being genuine with this story. It was a mistake, and we all make mistakes. I mean, we are human, so we make mistakes, and living with someone, being with them, you would see from your own point of view, you'd be able to know this guy is being genuine, and we can work past this. We can actually welcome the child into the family, and I mean, move on past it. So I love it when you ask that question about forgiveness. Where does this point of forgiveness come in? So it's really up to me as QT to decide, you know what, I'm going to forgive this behavior. It's not enabling it. I think you're wise enough in a relationship to know the difference between enabling and forgiving. Because if you enable something, you will just know deep down in your heart, you'll be like, mi najua tu atarudia hii mistake, you know? Like, najua tu atafanya tena. But there are those times you're just like, you're being genuine and I forgive you. Let's get past it and let's move on.
Bobby already said she's not here for the forgiveness. She said she's not buying that story.
Forgiving is for myself. It's for me nifike hiyo point yenye hizo vitu CJ amesema, where I've worked it out, we've talked about it. I felt if you're being genuine and I can listen to you, how the vibes are in the conversation, if I see you taking accountability and being very responsible with our relationship, then the forgiveness will come, but it'll be for me. I mean, I will forgive whatever was done to me or however I was made to feel. But I really, really don't know about like being beaten and then going back for the next bite. Because also, you know, with growth and healing and aging comes experience, and you're able to notice patterns, you're able to feel vibes, you're able to to tell like how your heart is feeling in that moment. I just feel like I would be very, very unable to forgive infidelity, because it just strips you away of everything. Because by the time you're with someone, like you really trust them and you really give yourself to them. And this goes beyond even romance and sexual relationships. This is at a very, very basic level. If I love you as my friend QT, there's just things I do not expect you to do. And if you do them to me, of course, I'd be able to be a judge of character and see, were you intentional? Were you trying to intentionally hurt me? Or is it something that happened, you know, you didn't really think about it? I should be able to have these conversations and to be able to see where you're coming from. But then to be able to put you on the same pedestal and to trust you in the same way, that's going to be very difficult. And I know CJ said, I might neza chana na QT niende the next relationship nani bebe izo trauma zote into the next friendship I go into. But then that's where my work comes in. I shouldn't just be moving from relationship to relationship without working on myself, without healing, without trying to grow and becoming better. Because the more relationships you get into, you notice those patterns and you're able to say, nakawe ni mtu wa kutake accountability, especially if you expect the same back. I'll be able to tell myself, I talked to CJ badly just because QT hurt me. Maybe I'm seeing the same patterns, so it's time for me to talk to CJ, find out, am I bringing my traumas from the past relationship? How does he feel about how I talked to him? Can I improve in the situation? Am I still hurting? Do I need to take a step back? Do I need to see someone for help? Do I need to talk about, you know, maybe I really, really still am hurt and I'm not realizing. But you see, these things manifest in your other relationships. So the awareness, as everything that you expect from other people, the same accountability, communication, taking responsibility, not being defensive when things are brought up. It's also my job to make sure I show up in the same way, because the same way someone could easily hurt me is the same way I could easily hurt someone. And like when I said I cheated, I was talking about how sometimes you hurt people without it being your intention. it's not something you're out to do intentionally, or you don't even think that you're doing it. Si tete na si justify. The point still remains that I did it. I hurt you. Whether I wanted to or I thought about it, I hurt you. So niyo point ya kutake accountability na kuwa able to see, oh, you feel like I cheated on you. Okay, how could I have done it? Or did it make you feel? Or what did I do that made you feel that way? I'm sorry. That was si time ya kujustify ati I wasn't intending, sikukuwa na mean. No, it's just up for me to take accountability, fix the situation, and then as we go, and then we can talk about those things. But forgiveness ni kitu yourself sana, and it comes with time. It's a decision you make within yourself. Because I could easily tell you, I forgive you, CJ, but you know, I'm still carrying all these pains into the next relationship.
I love your choice of words. The way you say, I'm sorry you felt I cheated.
You know what I mean.
And I totally agree, because I'm also not going to apologize or seek forgiveness if I honestly didn't do anything, because there's that as well. So I'm like, there's cheating with facts. There's cheating with facts, and then there's just suspicious, there's just suspicious partners who are out to just like catch you doing something.
You know,
wrong.
when we started, Bobby said that when you begin getting that alarm in you, something is wrong. And so if the other person is feeling that, then you must give them the benefit of doubt that there's something that is wrong as well. So it can just work for you and not work for the other person. So if they felt it, probably it's the same way you talk about the intuition thing. So sometimes when you're doing, you know, when you're making an apology and then you say, I'm sorry you feel I cheated, the person will feel you don't empathize because you don't see it as something you did. You feel it's them who feel that there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's fine, but there's also people projecting their insecurities on
this
others.
Is what I meant.
Yeah, because perhaps this guy is living his best life. He's going to the gym, he's gotten a promotion, he's gone and bought himself a new autobiography Range Rover, and you're here, you've had kids, you're putting on weight, you're not feeling, you know, you're not living your best life, you're feeling a certain type of way. So now projecting those insecurities on people, and this is why I keep going back to, did this person actually cheat, or are you also coming from a place where you're also bringing in too many of your own personal insecurities and assuming that somebody's up to no good?
In that, you're not supposed to apologize.
That's what I meant.
You see, an apology must be genuine. So if I have no reason to apologize, I don't apologize. Because if I apologize for the sake, this is where some people then get used to just saying sorry, because they know you expect a sorry. They don't mean it. They don't own it. They don't think you deserve it, but they just keep on saying it. So when they are wrong, and even when they're not wrong, and when they are wrong, it's the same thing. They'll keep on saying sorry, and they'll say, but I've already said sorry. It has no weight. You should expect genuine apology from the other person, which means they should only apologize when they are wrong. Then it has weight. So by the time I tell you, Lillian, I'm so sorry for what I did, you know I have owned it up. I'm not just trying to move on. I'm not just trying to have peace. I'm not just trying to have tranquility so that we forget about that. It's something that I own. So it is wrong to place an expectation, to create an expectation rather, that somebody will keep hearing sorry from you even when you don't mean it, just because you want peace.
Hold that thought. Let's get your feedback and the panelists' reactions to the same. There are people who are so difficult to say sorry to. They say, I don't want sorry. I want you to say, I apologize. Don't say yourself. Say, I apologize. Anyway, so this is a relationship. Relationship needs pure and clear truth to avoid mental illness. Men are always simple. This is Justice Cheboy. Infidelity in a relationship is mostly a genetic characteristic which can be passed in either the two genders. Blame is squarely shared. Thank you for that. Is it okay for a woman to tell her ex that she misses him? Girl! Cheating is about personality. Can you tell me why there are a lot of commercial sex workers out there?
That's very different.
Okay, is it okay to spy on someone's phone because you suspect they're cheating? Whoa, that's long. My wife cheated on me, left me with our 2 kids. I can't quite. 15 and 9, and also cut communication with the kids. I have never healed. I feel I wasted 16 years of my marriage life, and and ended up alone. A man hurts more. That's my take. I would advise anyone to break up, especially if kids are involved, unless you have tried talking it out and failed completely. I would advise anyone to break up or not to break up. In a marriage relationship for 23 years, just to realize that my husband has another wife with 2 children. Terrible. If one puts God first, embraces the 10 commandments, and keeps reading what kind of life God wants, infidelity, itashindwa. Nixon, thanks for that. Okay, do we have more?
Let me answer the one.
Yeah.
Sex work. You see, the difference between sex work and cheating is consent. By the time unaendea mtu koinange kumpik, they have accepted, and you are also a willing buyer, and there's a willing seller. But cheating takes away the autonomy of someone being able to make the decision for themselves. It strips away the trust, because this is not something that has been discussed. This is not something that has been brought to the table, especially if it is a monogamous relationship. I mean, even in poly relationships, easily discussions lazima you guys have. You cannot just do something and then you're like, oh, even other people, they go to sijui koinange, they do what. It's not the same. It cannot be compared. Cheating does not have haina hiyo discussion, hamjaongea na hamja disclose, but everything. The example that they gave about sex work, that's something very consensual, something that you seek out on your own, and the other person is also seeking you for, the benefits of financial.
Yeah.
So let's not justify cheating in any way. Yani, there is no reason. There is no reason. Sijali whether sijui you went through what yesterday, sijui your mother did what. All of us at some level, we've been through different traumas. We've been through things that have significantly changed or affected our lives. And we could easily show up as horrible people and blame it on, when I was 15, my dad left us, I didn't grow up with my mom. Hizo zote ni excuses. When you become an adult, you have to own up, take responsibility, and be very intentional about the things that you do. Take ownership.
Yeah.
If it's cheating that you do, why are you not proud of it? See, it's who you want to show up as. Show up like that and be very open about it. Accept yourself.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself like that if you must, so that you let the other person make a decision. Mi siwezi kuwa na cheater.
I'm not exclusive.
Ama mi naweza kuwa na cheater. Unajua, just be yourself and own it. And make sure you do not put people in situations where they're not able to make decisions, especially about their sexual lives. You put people in danger ya hizi diseases na emotional, physical, and psychological issues. So please just talk about these things in relationships so that everyone feels safe.
Yeah, your parting remarks, and let's respond. Somebody asked, should I reach out to my ex?
No, Z, why are you reaching out to your ex? Someone is talking to your ex?
No, like if your ex, like if you've left me, so we're in a relationship, CJ and I are in a relationship, quote unquote, he leaves me, goes. So should I, this lady, it's a lady, she was asking, should I reach out?
Z. Why are you reaching out to your ex? If someone goes, actually CJ put up a quote the other day, if you feel disrespected, just move on swiftly. Like life goes on. There's a reason why you guys parted ways. But anyway, about the forgiveness part, sometimes it comes out like si sorry bas, like si nilikukosea si pole, it shouldn't come out like that. If you've cheated, kama umekosea mtu kwa relationship, just apologize, be sincere about it, and just be fair to that someone. If you know you're not going to be with that someone, just let them go swiftly and accept that you've cheated and just apologize. Let it come out as an apology, not si sorry bas.
Your parting remarks, CJ?
I think that every relationship eventually comes down to the two people who are in it. And no matter what you face, no matter what challenges you deal with, you have to make judgment based on that. Where you are at, how you feel, what you think, what the future holds. And if you feel you can't go on with it, make a personal decision. Do not allow the pressure of other people or the expectation to keep you in there. Same way, if you feel that you want to stay in, do not allow pressure or perception to cause you to walk out. You've got to make very, very balanced and informed decision based on where you are at in your relationship. Yeah.
And for all of you who are hurting out there because you've been cheated on, the life coaches are here. Bobby is here, QT is here. A lot of insights every morning right here on Tuesdays around relationship matters. And you definitely will get something to take home in terms of your thoughts and how to own your feelings and what to do about certain situations. Many thanks for watching. My name is Lillian Muli. I was with CJ Atemo. He's a life coach, QT of Radio Citizen, and Roberta Bobby. She's a blogger. Good morning. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.